Hello students, welcome to this new video about Introduction to Linguistics. It's a pleasure to be here with you. I'm going to explain the different phonological rules, okay? So pay attention because this topic is very interesting and important in the field of phonology. But first of all, it is rather important to know the difference between phonetics and phonology, two branches of linguistics, two important branches of linguistics, right? Phonetics relates to the sounds of language, while phonology studies how those sounds are put together to create meaning. Phonemes, or units of sound that are used in all languages to create words, are the focus of the study of phonetics. In phonology, phonology studies the rules in any given language that govern how those phonemes are combined to create meaningful words. Phonetics and phonology study two different aspects of sound, but the concepts are dependent on each other in the creation of language. Each unit of sound, regardless of language, is called a phoneme, okay? And I'm going to explain that later, a little bit more. Phonetics attempts to understand how each one of these phonemes is physically formed and produced by humans. These units can be categorized by how they are produced and whether they are voiced or voiceless. Okay, remember that? This aspect of phonetics is commonly used by linguists as well as speech specialists to understand how humans create speech sounds and why speech problems sometimes occur. Okay. Phonology, on the other hand, is the study of how phonemes are put together and how they create meaning for the speaker of any given language. Some phonemes may have slightly different meanings or uses in two different languages, and phonology is an attempt to understand these changes in meaning. In addition, historical or diachronic phonology studies how the phonemes of a word can change over time and how this affects word meaning. Phonology also examines the patterns of how phonemes are used in a language. For example, some of these units are only used in the middle or at the end of a word, but never at the beginning. So, in other words, students, phonetics and phonology differ in that phonetics studies the production of sounds, and phonology studies the combination of sounds. Phonetics can be used to explore the sounds that are used in any language, but phonology looks at only one language at a time. Okay, both depend on each other because without the production of sounds, there would be no words, but without the rule to put them together, sounds would have no meaning. Okay, so you need to be clear in the concepts of phonetics and phonology. Now I'm going to explain narrow and broad transcriptions. So there is a distinction between a narrow transcription and a broad transcription. The first one, narrow transcription, is also known as a phonetic transcription, okay? Represents the actual realizations of particular sounds, that is, it includes the details, the specific details of the sounds. And that's what we are going to study in this video, the different rules, the different details that you need to apply when transcribing sentences or words, okay? This kind of transcription is enclosed in square brackets. The second one, the phonemic transcription or broad transcription, does not include the details of the sounds and is known as phonemic, okay? Phonemic transcription. This kind of transcription is enclosed in slashes, and I'm going to explain that with an example. Okay, it is another this is another important concept, phoneme. Okay, it is a very important concept, phoneme. Okay, a phoneme is an abstract representation of the smallest distinctive sound unit in a language, and it is often realized by different phones referred to as allophones, which is another concept that I'm going to explain later. Okay, phonemes are represented by letters between slashes, as you can see here, a, b, r. Under the rule, one phoneme equals one symbol. We have this word here in this example, feel. You can see that the transcription of this word is this one, right? Feel. Okay, so how many phonemes do we have in this word? How many? We have 3 phonemes. We have the phoneme f, we have the phoneme e, and also the l, okay? 3 phonemes in this word. So that is a good example to illustrate what a phoneme is. But we have also a concept which is allophone. An allophone is one of 2 or more variations of the sound of the same phoneme. Okay, here we have another example. So notice that in this case, the sound is pronounced differently. So that is why they are called allophones, okay? Allophones. So here we have it, is one of 2 or more variations of the sound of the same phoneme. Okay, students, I hope you are clear in this concept. Okay, we have here the phoneme t, but in different conditions, it is pronounced differently, as in these 2 words, top and stop. But I have this analogy in this case to illustrate better the concept that I already explained about the allophones. Okay, here we have the concept of water. Okay, water, the element water. The water has 3 states, right? Solid, liquid, and gas, right? It becomes steam or ice when it is submitted to certain conditions, for example, fire and freezing, and yet they are all the same element. Okay, that's the same. That is what happens when you have the allophones. When you have a phoneme under a certain condition, it becomes with another sound, okay, like in this one. So in this condition, what is the condition here? Well, the sound or the phoneme appears at the beginning of the word. So that's why it is pronounced with an aspiration, okay? An aspiration. Meanwhile, in this word, the sound is not at the beginning, is not at the end, but it is in the middle. So we don't have to apply the rule of aspiration in that case. So I hope you are clear in this concept with this through this illustration. This is another important concept, a minimal pair. Minimal pairs. A minimal pair refers to 2 words that differ in only one sound, okay, such as in the words hit and head. You can notice that the only different sound in these 2 words is the final sound and the sound d. Okay, so this is a minimal pair. It's 2 words that differ in only one sound. That is a minimal pair. This is a very important concept that you should be clear too. The words in a minimal pair, it says, have completely different, often unrelated definitions. Minimal pairs are useful to linguists because they provide insight into how sound and meaning coexist in language. Here we have 2 examples of words, okay? We have pen, we have ben. What is the different sound? The different sound, okay, is the initial sound, right? P, okay, the bilabial stop, p, and the bilabial, this one, b, b, okay? And in these 2 words, cap and cat, we have also a minimal pair there because the final sound, p, is in this case is p, and in this word is t. So this is a minimal pair because the rest of the sounds are the same. K, a, k, a, okay? This is another important concept that we need to know. Now I'm going to explain the different rules that are very important in phonology. The first one, as I told you, is aspiration. Aspiration. Okay, the aspiration rule says that a voiceless stop, remember what are the voiceless stop? A voiceless stop becomes aspirated when it occurs word or syllable initially before a stressed vowel. You can see here some examples. Pie, you have the example spy, kill, skill. Okay, I'm going to repeat that rule, okay? A voiceless stop becomes aspirated when it occurs word or initially or syllable initially before a stressed vowel. In this case, we have the stressed vowel here, I, the diphthong I, remember, pi, so that is why in this word we have to apply the rule of aspiration. And what is the symbol for aspiration rule? Is a little h here, like in this one, okay? You write the little h there, pi. That indicates that the aspiration rule is applied in that word. But in this case, we cannot apply that rule because, as you can see, it doesn't have the requirements. Okay, we have the sound p, but in the middle of the word, so we don't have to apply that rule here. So we have to transcribe it this way. But look at this word, killed, kill, right? Kill is a voiceless stop. So, and it is also at the beginning. And after that sound, we have a stressed vowel, which is e, kill. So we have to apply the aspiration rule here. Write the little h there, kill, okay? But in this case, we cannot apply that rule because the k sound is in the middle of the word. Remember that, okay? Always remember that in order to apply or not the rule. This is the aspiration rule, one of the most important rules, one of the most important phonological rule. Let's continue with another rule. Oh no, here we have some exercises in the work panic. You can see we have to apply the rule there because the aspiration, the voiceless stop is at the beginning. Okay, the panic, okay? There is a puff of air at the beginning of the word when you pronounce it. You can feel the puff of air if you put your hand in front of your mouth. But what about this one? Do we have to apply that rule here? Yes or no? Okay, we don't have to apply that rule here because this word doesn't have the requirements in order to apply the rule. But what about this one? We cannot apply that rule here either, okay? But what about this one? Top. Okay, this was the example that I provided you at the beginning of the video, right? Do you remember? And that's why we need to apply that rule in that word. What about capital? Capital. Do we have to apply the rule? Yes. Why? Because we have the voiceless stop at the beginning of the word here. K, k, okay? And it is followed by a stressed vowel, which is a, okay? Capital. Capital. All right, students. Let's continue with the rule number 2, which is nasalization rule. The nasalization rule. Okay, the nasalization rule says that a vowel, pay attention, a vowel becomes nasalized when it occurs before a nasal sound. And this is the symbol for nasalization, okay? A diacritic mark. Okay, when a vowel occurs before a nasal segment, there is a nasal sound, like in this example. It is produced with certain degree of nasalization, that is, by lowering the velum, permitting the air to go out through the nasal cavity. So in the word came, the vowel sound A becomes nasalized because it occurs before the nasal sound okay? It becomes nasalized. Why? Because it occurs before the nasal sound So nasalization is then a predictable feature for vowels because it depends on the environment in which the vowel occurs before the nasal sound, right? Nasalization is not a predictable for consonant sounds since it does not depend on the environment in which the consonant sound occurs. In a narrow transcription, as I explained earlier, a nasalized vowel is symbolized by placing the diacritic mark over the vowel, like in these two words, okay? Came, you have to put the diacritic mark over the vowel, okay? And in the word pen, you have to put the diacritic mark over the vowel okay? The low front vowel. So this is a nasalization rule. Okay, here we have some exercises for you to practice. Do we need to apply the nasalization rule in this word? Yes or no? Of course, we have to apply it. Why? Because this vowel occurs before a nasal sound. Bin, bin, okay, it occurs before a nasal sound. So that's why we need to apply the nasalization rule. What about this word? Not. Do we need to apply the nasalization rule there? Not? No. Why not? Because the vowel occurs after the sound n. So it is not the requirement. The requirement says that the vowel sound needs to be before the nasal sound in this case. So here we have another example, the word seen. Okay, yes, we have to apply the rule here, seen. Okay, now the homorganic nasal rule. This is the rule number 3. Okay, students, remember that if you have any question, please let me know and I will be answering you any doubt or question that you may have to apply these interesting phonological rules. The homorganic nasal rule says that a nasal assumes the same place of articulation as that of a following oral stop sound. Okay, students, two consonant sounds are said to be homorganic when they have the same place of articulation. And we should notice that an N, which is usually an alveolar that is pronounced N, becomes a bilabial that is pronounced You can see this example here, that is pronounced when it occurs before the oral stop P, okay, and B. So when you have an N sound before a bilabial sound, it becomes okay? Always remember that. This is because the sounds P, and B are bilabial. In the same way, N becomes velar, that is pronounced when it occurs before the oral stop sounds K and G, as in these 3 examples here, okay? This is because the sounds K and G are velar. Notice that when N occurs before T and D, it does not change, okay? This is very important. I'm going to repeat that. Notice that when N occurs before T and D, it does not change. This is because T and D are alveolar sounds. The words input and incoherent are then pronounced input and incoherent, okay? Incoherent respectively. So you can take notes of what I'm saying, okay, students, for you to do a good job when transcribing. Exercises, here we have the word bring. Do we need to apply the rule? Yes or no? Yes, okay. Here we have it, bring. Okay, the n becomes n. And what about this one? Do we need to apply the rule? No, okay, no. And what about this one? English, English, English. Yes, okay. You can see that the n sound becomes n, okay? Interesting. So this is the rule number 4, vowel length. Vowel length. So the vowel length says that a vowel is made long or lengthened when it occurs before a voiced sound or word finally. You can see here the symbol, this one, okay? Uh, you have to apply it, you have to use it when transcribing the words, and you need to apply the rule, of course. Okay, the word mad, you have to transcribe it this way. Why do you have to apply the rule here? Why? Because the rule says that it occurs before a voiced sound or word finally. Here we have a voiced sound. Remember the voiced sounds, d. Okay, d is a voiced sound. So this vowel here, a, needs to be made long or lengthened. Okay, what about the word free? Free. This is word finally. Okay, the vowel sound is at the end of the word. So we need to apply the vowel length rule here. Free, free. So in other words, a vowel can be long or short depending on the environment, always on the environment in which it occurs, before a voiced sound or at the end of a word. Thus, the vowel sound, okay, a, as in mad, okay, in this example here, the vowel sound a in mad is longer than in mat, okay, mat, since d is voiced whereas t is not. So long vowels are symbolized in a narrow transcription by placing the symbol, this one, a colon, which this is a colon, okay, after the vowel. In the case of mad, it would be transcribed this way. All right? Okay, students, I hope you understand clearly this rule, vowel length. Now I have some exercises here for you to practice. Do we need to apply the rule vowel length in this word? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Why? Because we have a vowel at the end of the word. Okay. What about this one? Do we need to apply the rule in this case? In this word? Both. Vowel length is applied here? No, we don't have to apply the rule here because the requirements are not accomplished, okay? What about this word? Main. Main. Yes, we need to apply the vowel length rule in this case. Why? Because you can see that after the vowel we have a voiced sound, which is the n. Okay, but also you can see that we need to apply another rule here. What is that rule? Remember, okay, nasalization rule, okay, because we have a nasal sound after the vowel. So we need to apply two rules here. The nasalization rule, okay, symbolized with a diacritic mark, and also the vowel length rule symbolized with a colon here after the vowel. So this is the rule number 4. Now we are going to see rule number 5, velarization. Velarization. Okay, this rule says that L becomes velarized when it occurs before a back vowel, a low vowel, or word finally. In some dialects of English, there are two different l's, okay? The alveolar and the velarized. A velarized l results when the back of the tongue is raised toward the velum. This happens when l occurs before back and low vowels and word finally, as in the words look, as you can see here, the word look, and also the word lack or last, and the word feel. Okay, at the end we have the l sound at the end, so we need to apply the rule of velarization. In a narrow transcription, a velarized l will be represented here by the symbol, this one you can see here, this symbol, okay, in the middle of the l. Thus the words look, the words last and feel will be transcribed this way, okay, applying the rule. Okay, remember students that different names for the vowels, but you need to remember the chart of the technical names of the vowels. Okay, remember the low vowels, the back vowels. Okay, remember those terms because it is very important to know that in order to be more technical in this field of phonology. So when I say low vowel, you need to know what a low vowel is, or back vowels, or high front vowels, mid front vowels, and so on, okay? It is very important. So this is a velarization rule. Exercises. What about the word lake? Do we need to apply the velarization rule here? Yes or no? We don't have to apply that rule here. Why? Because the vowel A is not a back vowel, is not a low vowel, so we don't have to apply the rule in that case. What about the word still? Still, do we need to apply it? Yes. Why? Because the sound, the phoneme L, occurs at the end of the word, right? The phoneme, remember, when I say phoneme, I'm talking about one sound, okay? The smallest sound, okay? Lock, what about lock? Yes, I need to apply it. Why? Because we are talking about a back vowel, which is a, okay? This is very, very important to remember that those technical names. Okay, students, now we are going to see the Schwa rule. Okay, remember that is pronounced when it occurs in stressed position, not followed by okay? Meanwhile, when it occurs in stressed position, followed by okay? And when it occurs in unstressed position, followed by Okay, here we have some examples. In this case, the word love, love, okay? We need to transcribe it this way because it is occurring in stressed position, but it is not followed by okay? So this is the symbol. What about the word bird? Bird. Remember the schwa is here, okay, in stressed position, and it is followed by the sound or the phoneme so it becomes bird, okay? And the symbol is this one. What about the word better? Better, okay? Here we have the sound occurring at the end of the word, okay? At the end. It is in unstressed but it is followed by so it becomes this symbol. But what about the word data? Data, okay? The schwa is at the end of the word and it is in unstressed position, not followed by sound, okay? So these are the 4 symbols for schwa. You need to be very clear in this rule when you are going to transcribe words, sentences, okay? Very, very important, the schwa rule. We have four symbols for the same sound. And it also depends, as you can notice, it also depends on the environment in which the schwa sound is. So you can see that if the schwa is in unstressed position, not followed by what is the symbol? Schwa in unstressed position not followed by okay? This symbol here, this symbol, okay? The normal symbol, the normal schwa, okay? But when that schwa occurs in stressed position followed by sound, what is the symbol? This one, okay? But what if the schwa sound occurs in stressed position not followed by sound? Then the symbol is this one, okay? This one. But what if the schwa sound occurs in unstressed position followed by sound? What is the symbol? Okay, this one, okay, like in the word butter, butter, okay? So this is the Schwa rule, and let me see here, we have some exercises for you to practice. The word lover. What is the symbol for this one? Okay, you can see it. Okay, you can see here 2 schwas, okay? This one in stressed position not followed by the symbol is this. And in this case, it is in unstressed position followed by so the symbol is this one. What about the word third? Okay, the symbol is that one. It is in stressed position followed by so the symbol is that one. What about this? Ago, ago. You can see a schwa at the beginning of the word, and it is not followed by so the symbol is this one, ago. And this one, what about this? Okay, the symbol is this one because it is in stressed position, not followed by sound. Now here we have the 7th rule, which is the fricative. Fricative rule. Okay, students, the fricative rule says that becomes fricative when it occurs after d, or after okay? And the symbol for the fricative rule is a little and short line, okay, in the middle of the in the middle of the r, okay? Examples in these words here, we have the word through, remember? And this one, drew, and this one, tree, okay? Tree. So we have to apply the rule whenever you see or wherever you see an a d or t before an r, okay? So this is the fricative rule that you need to apply. And here we have some exercises. But people, please remember the sounds. You need to remember what is the condition, what are the requirements, okay? It says clearly, becomes fricative when it occurs after the sounds or the phonemes t, d, and f. Remember that. If these conditions are not fulfilled, then you cannot apply that rule. Never, okay? Exercises. Proud. Okay? Do you need to apply the rule here? Why not? Because the sound p is not one of the sounds that need to be there, okay? The sounds are t, d, or f, not p, like in this word. So you don't need to apply the rule here. What about this one? Dramatic. Yes, we need to apply the rule here. Why? Because we have the sound, we have the phoneme d, okay, before the sound r. What about thread? Thread. Yes, we need to apply the rule here because we have the sound f at the beginning, okay, before the sound r. What about this one? Trap. Trap. Do we need to apply the fricative rule? Yes or no? Of course we need to apply that rule because this is one of the sounds. The sound is before the sound r. That's right. Okay, students. Now we are going to continue with the rule number 8. 8. The devoicing rule. Devoicing rule. Okay, students, you can see that devoiced, devoicing or devoiced is the same as voiceless. Okay, that means that l and become voiceless or devoiced when they occur after a voiceless stop. Okay, what are the voiceless stops? Do you remember those sounds? If you don't know yet the technical names for consonants and vowel, I ask you please go to the book, go to any source to study those names and those sounds, okay? Voiceless stops. What are the voiceless stops? Okay, the voiceless stops are t, okay, p, okay, k, okay? These three sounds, okay? As in these examples, okay, but first we need to see the symbol. The symbol is a little circle. You have to put it under the sounds, okay, under the letter L or R. Okay, examples. Try, try. Okay, the rule says L and R become devoiced when they occur after a voiceless stop. So in this case, we have the R after the sound T, which is a voiceless stop. The same here, okay, the L is after the sound P, which is a voiceless stop also. What about price? Price. Yes, the same case here. The R sound is after the sound P. And in this one too, okay? Creed. Creed. R sound if after the sound K. And in this case also, claim. Claim. The L sound if after the sound K. So that's why we need to apply the devoicing rule. Okay, don't worry, students. I'm going to provide a page with the different rules, a summary of these rules that I'm explaining to you. Okay, exercises here. Pride. Do we need to apply the devoicing rule? Yes or no? Of course, pride. Okay, here the circle, the little circle is in the middle. Okay, because of the computer I couldn't put the symbol under the letter R, but you know that this little circle must be under, exactly under the R sound, okay? Just to be clear. Plumber. What about plumber? Yes, we need to apply the rule there. The little circle is under the L sound. All right. Now the flap rule. The flap rule, which is another an interesting, important rule. T and D become flapped. Okay, the flap rule says that and become flapped when they occur between a stressed and an unstressed vowel. Okay, so is realized in Spanish in two ways, trilled and flapped. I'm going to explain that. That is, it can be produced by trilling, vibrating the tongue against the hard palate, as in the word pero, okay? Or by making the tongue flap against the alveolar ridge, as in pero. Okay, in English, the is never trilled, but some speakers of English produce a flap This is the sound that most American speakers produce instead of t or d in words like rider. Here we have an example here, rider. You can see that the symbol is a big D, okay? Rider. And also in the word rider, okay? You can see that there is a difference, okay, between the American and the British pronunciation in this case. You can notice that American people use the flap rule. Instead of saying writer or rider, they say rider, okay, rider here. Okay, this is the flap rule, which is a distinction, a characteristic of American pronunciation. But always remember the rule. The rule says t and d become flapped when they occur between a stress, okay, a stressed vowel and an unstressed vowel. So if these two requirements are not fulfilled, then you cannot apply the flap rule, people. Okay, is it clear? Exercises. What about here? Here. Okay, we don't need to apply the rule here. What about the word better? Better. Better. Okay, let's analyze the word. Here we have an unstressed vowel, and before the T we have a stressed vowel, right? B, E. This is stressed, this is unstressed, and this is that. So it becomes better, right? You can see it there, better. Okay, students, now it's time to practice. I have prepared some exercises for you to practice. I hope you have understood these rules that you need to practice. You need to put into practice from now on. Okay, remember, students, that if you have any question, please let me know. I will try to explain to you. Okay, I will explain to you if you didn't understand anything. Okay, if you didn't understand the rules, then I'm going to try to explain to you again. So don't be afraid, practice a lot, try to watch the video again if you need it in order to remember, okay, in order to understand the main concepts. Remember the different concepts that I explained at the beginning. I explained what a phoneme is, what a minimal pair is, what is an allophone, okay, what is linguistics. Okay, I didn't explain what is linguistics. I explained two branches. I explained phonetics and phonology, the differences between them, and also narrow and broad transcription. Okay, students, thank you very much for watching the video. Please remember to review again the video, to review the different concepts, study, investigate for yourselves in order to refresh your mind in this interesting field of linguistics, which is phonology. Thank you very much. Have a good time.